Okay, welcome to our P3 Futures of Forex forecast for the week of September 18th. Glad to be with you this weekend in preparation for our trading next week. I'm still under the weather. In fact, my throat is worse off today than it was last week. So I'm going to make this another short forecast and skip a couple of the markets that we normally do, but still give us an idea of what markets we'll be looking at this week. This week was pretty slow for me as far as my own personal trading because of the sickness. So that's usually a good idea when you're sick, is don't trade as much. But next week we'll be looking at, of course, the all important stock futures, the ES, the Nasdaq, the Russell 2000. We'll be looking at those. In regards to what we're seeing right here, right now, today, Friday, the 15th, we are seeing that a huge sell signal off of a breakout move here, and then you see that we see a big down move. So we should be seeing a continuation, in my opinion, next week of this momentum to the downside. The advanced decline line isn't really showing that. It's still showing pretty steady. But just depending on what happens on Monday, if Monday breaks through this and continues, then we'll probably look for a little bit of a pullback if we're not in already, and then look to go short, and we'll have targets down in this area. That'll be my play next week with the stock futures. If Monday or Tuesday we get all the way back up to Friday's high, like right up in here, then that would negate any of that. So if Monday it comes up and tests that previous Thursday's low, that'd be a good sell point, and then the stops would be above there. That's what I'm going to be planning and looking for with stock futures, and then obviously watching what happens with the advanced decline line. Let's move over to our middle markets. This was exactly what I was expecting to see. More selling here coming into the silver. Now, last week we said that if it gets back up into this area, we could retrace back to 24-ish before it came down. But on Monday it came up, and then Tuesday this wick that came back down to these lows, that turned off the buys for me. I took off my buys, took a little bit of profit, and then I waited for this area and made a little bit of profit off of that. I didn't expect it to come as high today as it did. It rose more than 50 cents, 60 cents there from the lows. But we were expecting these to come and bounce off the lows here. And so right now, probably wait for it to come back down a little bit and then see if it can break Thursday's high. But I'm not going to be actively trading this market until we get a clear picture of what it wants to do, whether to the upside or break these lows. If it breaks Thursday's low, then obviously, excuse me, we'll be looking for lower prices. The gold market is going to be similar. The gold market nearly came back to the lows, but we were expecting that downward move, and it broke yesterday's high in very strong fashion. So we're looking for the market to come down near Thursday's high for an entry, and then putting our stops probably below these things right in here for a possible retracement back up into this area. We were expecting, when it was coming up here, possibly for it to come up to here, but this consolidation broke to the downside. So this could be the time. This could be a higher low formation and then a break back to these old highs. Could take a couple weeks for that, but we'll be looking for buy signals in this market next week. In crude oil and the energies, I've been looking for sells, but they have not been giving any sell signals. You can see that we've been steadily getting higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. We have not broken this trend line down, and so there's not been any clear sell signal whatsoever. We are in a condition to sell. We are getting into the seasonality of selling. The forecast is looking down. So I do expect this market to have a sell sometime soon. My targets were around like 84 if it was going to sell, but it hasn't happened yet. So Monday, I'll be looking to sell at Friday's low, or Tuesday if it can, the Monday can make another high and then sell Monday's low, or wait for a formation of a lower high and then look for the sell signal, because it could take another week for this market. It could get up to 95 or somewhere in that area. the conditions are there for a little bit of a pullback, but this is a strong market, so don't be too hasty. And I'm glad I kept my finger off the trigger there. I got back long into the soybean market this week. We had on Wednesday we had a 3-bar reversal and a break, so I got it on Thursday. Today was a big down day, so we may have to negate that. But my stops are below Thursday's low. We'll just have to wait and see if it makes a high. But we are expecting higher prices in the grain markets. And if you're not already in this, wait for another formation of a potential 3-bar reversal. It could be a lower, a higher low formation, and then it makes a break, or wait until the break of Friday's high if you're looking to go long in these markets. And the same thing in the wheat market, wait for a break of Friday's high. Okay, let's take a look at our Forex pairs here. We've been stocking the dollar yen, thinking it's going to come back up, and we've got a move down on Monday, and then it's been steadily rising the rest of the week back up to these highs. So we do think that it's going to continue up a little bit into the end of the month. And so look for buy signals if you get a break of previous day lows. So if Monday, if it comes down to Friday's low, that would be a sell signal for a little bit here to the downside. But otherwise, look for buy signals as we get pullbacks, maybe a breakout of these highs, a breakout, a comeback and test. Look for buy signals in the dollar, and particularly the dollar yen. So we were also looking for sell signals in the euro dollar to come back down to these lows, and look what happened here. We came back down to these lows exactly as expected. It came back pretty good to what we thought last week. Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Friday, we thought it might come back up to this high and then come back down to these lows, and it did exactly what we thought it was going to do, working off these pivot points with the euro dollar. So keep an eye on potential buys off of these lows. But considering the strength of the dollar, we could even see this market come down even lower if it breaks. If it breaks these lows, the next spot to target are these lows, the 0500 area. That's another 150 pips that could potentially be hit next week if we get some more buying in the dollar, more selling in the euro. But anytime there could be something to make the markets switch directions here for us. But the end of the fiscal year is coming up, and then looking for buy signals in the euro and the pound at the beginning of October is something that we're definitely going to be looking at. But for now, look for breakouts and another formation of a higher low, and then a break to these levels right here. We're looking at the same thing with the pound dollar. You can see that we are making this kind of a wick and then come down. Usually that's a pattern of more selling. So we've got a couple of levels here, potential support, but I expect it to come down back to that 2300, 2250 area and see if it can test that, depending on how the dollar performs before we get any type of bounce reversal in this market. So I would wait a couple weeks for buy signals, look for ways to get short, and that's what I'm going to be looking for next week, and hopefully getting physically better so that I can spend some more time trading and watching the charts. So thanks for joining me today for this short forecast. Hope that helps you in this week of trading. If you have any questions on specific markets that you'd like me to take a look at, anytime you could send me an email at kevin@tradingbuddysystem.com or join our Discord and post questions and charts in there. And I'm happy to give my 2 bits for whatever it's worth, whatever those 2 bits are worth these days, to provide any insights and help with your trading. Thanks so much for participating. Hope you have a great week of trading, and take care.